Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Hope you've all had a good week. It has been a while since I last updated a video. I think the last movie I moved was the last Indiana Jones movie, but I can't even remember when that was. But anyway, thankfully I have got a rare day off work. So it does mean I'm able to talk about something I've been wanting to talk about for some time, and that would be Arcane. Not specifically the show itself, more like the 4K Blu-ray release of it. Now, as you can see, this is the Steelbook version. There we go. This is the official like GKids release. I can't get it all in frame there, but there you go. You can see most of it. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I found out that another company in Italy has released this. And the reason, well, there were two main reasons why I went for this. Firstly, it's not a steelbook. I'm not a big lover of steelbooks, so this comes in a lovely black amaret case. So that's a positive. That's one of the reasons why I wanted this. There is another reason why I wanted this, and hence this video really, and that's the audio, because the standard, I say standard, the Steelbook release, the audio on that is only Dolby True HD, whereas this new release from a company called, if I can find it, Plaion. It's an Italian release. I can't pronounce it. Anyway, the point is, the reason I got this version is because this comes with DTS 5.1. Now, I know what you're thinking. Most of you are probably thinking, well, so what? Why does that make a difference? Well, one thing I've noticed, thanks to my setup, I have noticed a difference in audio quality. Now, to give a bit of backstory to this, many years ago, when I was living in my old flat where I was living previously, I was limited to the amount of speaker setup I could have. So I had 3 speakers at the front, and the 2 rear speakers weren't actually at the rear. They were beside me, because my living room was so small. The rear speakers were against the wall with the sofa. So my sofa was against the wall, and the rear speakers were also against the wall. So they weren't so much behind me as to either side of me. So they weren't really rear speakers. So because of the room size, I could only get a 5.1 setup. I've since moved, and because my place is has a slightly different layout, I'm able to upgrade my surround sound setup. So now, even though my Denon receiver, amp, whatever you want to call it, that only is set up for 7.1. It's a 7.1 setup. It does something magical. It takes a 5.1 signal and upscales it to 7.1. Which I didn't know at the time, because at the time where I was living, I could only really have a 5.1 setup. So 7.1 wasn't a consideration for me because I didn't have the room for it. I only recently discovered that it takes a 5.1 signal and converts it into when I got my 7.1 setup. So now I have 3 speakers at the front, 2 at the sides, and finally 2 at the rear. And one thing I noticed from watching movies over the years, various movies, is that not only do I think DTS just sounds better anyway over Dolby, even Dolby Atmos, I still think DTS sounds better. But it takes a 5.1 signal and does something and turns it into 7.1. So if you want Dolby, if you're okay with Dolby HD, Dolby True HD, then there's no reason why you shouldn't just stick with this if that's what you want. And also if you like Steelbooks. Again, I'm not a fan of Steelbooks, but for some reason the company responsible for releasing this didn't do a standard plastic Amaray case for it. So I was stuck with it whether I wanted it or not, frankly. Then I found out about this release, and like I said, it's a standard Amaray case and DTS 5.1. So with regards to the 5.1, or in my case, upconverts it or does something to make it 7.1, the DTS on this is phenomenal. So whether or not you buy this depends on two factors. One, whether or not you like Steelbooks. Again, I'm not a fan. And also your sound format. If you don't really care about the sound format, if you have no interest in the sound format, then there's no reason to upgrade, not necessarily upgrade, but buy this. If, however, you do like DTS, if you like proper immersive surround sound, and if you have the capacity or the ability to have a sound system that takes a 5.1 signal and upscales it to 7.1, then this is the one you need, because the DTS on this is fantastic. There is a lot more bass. I had to turn my sub down to its lowest setting and it still wasn't low enough. There was still lots and lots of bass coming through. So the 5.1, 7.1, whatever you want to call it, the DTS surround on this is phenomenal. And if that's what you want, then this is the version you need to get. In terms of extras, the special features, you get everything you get on the regular release. Yeah, here we go. This is what you'll find on the back of the Steelbook. Everything is exactly the same. You get the same amount of special features. All the special features are the same. The only difference is the audio. Dolby True HD, not very good for me. I didn't like it. It was okay for what it was. DTS 5.1, which if you have the space and the speakers, will upgrade to 7.1. And like I said, there is a very, very noticeable difference. What I also like, I prefer this artwork as well. I do think this is a much, much better artwork. It's same in the back. I can't remember the menus. I think the menus were in Italian and German, but you can easily select English anyway. So the main menus are not in English, but when you select English language, it will play it in English DTS. If I got one minor complaint, it's with regards to this case, because as you can see, it's in a black Blu-ray case. But on the reverse side, if I just take this out, so there's the front, but on the inside, look at that. A beautiful piece of artwork there. And that is on the inside. That's, I believe, Piltover, if I remember rightly, is the name of the village, town, city, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, that is beautiful. So my only complaint is I don't understand why they put this in this. This should have been a clear case, because then you could see the artwork on the inside. But apart from that, that's my only real complaint. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, really. This is more of a review of the audio than it is the show. I'm not going to review the show, because if you know the show, you know the show. If you don't know the show, best to go in knowing as little as possible. But it is a beautiful show. The 4K picture is amazing. But like I said, for me, it was all about the audio. If you got the setup for DTS 7.1, then I would highly recommend getting this, because I promise you, the difference in audio between this and the Dolby True HD on this is extremely, very, very noticeable. This is a lot clearer and a lot more immersive. This is better. If you're an audiophile, this is better. If you have the ability for 7.1, this is better. DTS is the way forward. There was another example, really. I think it was in the Arrow video of RoboCop. Arrow video, yeah. Arrow Video released RoboCop on 4K Blu-ray, and that came with several different audio options. You've got Dolby Atmos, DTS 5.1, and I think it was Dolby Digital 4.0 or something. Now, I've watched that film in Dolby Atmos. Again, it's okay, it's fine. I listened to it again in DTS 5.1, and again, it was the same thing with Arcane. The sound was greatly improved. It was a lot clearer. And again, because I've got the 7.1 set up, and because my Denon amp can convert 5.1 into 7.1, yeah, my side speakers and rear speakers got a great workout. So yeah, needless to say, I'm a DTS fan, not such a fan of Dolby, if I'm honest.